Welcome to the Marketing Weekly's the Making Waves CXO series. So the first question is about how did you manage the huge shift from astrology to paints, and not to forget the wide difference in the demographics from New Delhi and
Hmm.
then with the Northeast India. So if you can answer that.
Uh, so Kundan, the story starts a little earlier than when I moved into Future Point, which is yes, as you rightly said, was a company which was into astrology. So when I passed out in 2010, and we were still coming out of that recession wala bit, and I was very very clear that I didn't want to go into financial institutions, and that was the only thing which was hiring at that time. Uh, so I somehow took that gamble, which did not work, and I ended up without a placement when I passed out. So that is where the first offer that I got was that was maybe a friend's dad's organization which was into astrological software. So it used to sell software to astrologers which they would use to make kundlis. So yeah, so I ended up selling software to astrologers for a year. That included not only software but also all your rudraksh and your crystal malas and your yantras, etc. And I remember when I went for that Asian Paints interview, my whole interview was only around how in the world do you sell astrology? Because it was such a weird industry to be coming from, because you don't see people from B schools going and selling astrology as such. So my whole interview was on the fact, how do you find your customers, how do you manage your leads, and how do you ensure that sales closure, etc. And touchwood, out of the 8 people sitting for the interview that day, I was the only one who got through. So yes, I would say, while it was a very very uh, uncommon start, or a as compared to a lot of others, but it did teach me a lot. It taught me things at the ground level. It taught me that the ghisai at the when you start your career. So I remember traveling in buses. I remember traveling in train unreserved trains as well, to ensure that we reach wherever we had our events, etc. So it was a very very good shift. As far as shifting of the basis was concerned, yes, it was a very very different market. For Future Point, I was based out of Delhi, which was again the capital there. And then with Asian Paints, my first stint was based out of Siliguri. So that included close to 300 kilometers on either side of Siliguri. Plus, it included the markets of Darjeeling, Gangtok, the whole of Sikkim, the whole of Bhutan. So that was a very, very different experience altogether. You realize that how a market of a metro is very, very, I would say, transactional and professional. Whereas when you go into a rural market or an upcountry market, that whole experience changes into a whole thing of becoming a part of the family, the whole thing becoming so personal, and people appreciating you becoming part of their overall business culture, etc. So that was a very very different scenario. So yes, I spent 2 years in Siliguri. Then I spent close to 4 years in Calcutta as well later on, in my later stints of Asian Paints. So yes, it's a good uh, time to have worked in very very different markets, very very varied industries as well.
Thanks a lot, sir. So your second question is, we'll start with the Northeast India. So how was your experience on handling one of the Ola's largest market, Mumbai, having predominantly worked in the East India and especially in the rural market? So how
Hmm.
you managed such a huge shift in the demographic change and the cultural change, of course.
So I'll tell you, my first stint in Asian Paints was Siliguri, but my second two stints in Siliguri, in Asian Paints were based out of Calcutta. So yes, I was still looking after South Bengal, including the rural part in the Calcutta stint. Yes, my third stint there was the complete East. So that included Hyderabad also. So I was handling Calcutta, Hyderabad, Visakhapatnam. So yes, I had moved into the metros significantly, but it was very very different. Even after moving to Ola, my uh, first stint was Calcutta. So 2 years I was handling Calcutta. One stint I was handling all the tier three markets. So I was handling all smaller cities like Gaya, Madurai, Trichy, Aurangabad. And my last stint there was Bombay. Now, yes, it's a very, very different, varied market. Bombay, the difference is that you get everything in one. So if I look at South Bombay, we had a very different product strategy. If I looked at Navi Mumbai, the different strategy was very different. If I looked at the western suburbs, the market was very different. So wherever I had worked, so be it the metros of Calcutta and maybe a Hyderabad, to my experiences of comparatively smaller towns like Chandigarh or Aurangabad or Madurai, all of them I would say came together when I was handling Bombay. So because I remember if I'm making a marketing strategy for South Bombay, I would be pushing products like Prime Play, etc., or similar to that. If I am targeting students, etc., in the educational belt, then my focus would have been on auto and Ola Share. And if I went into markets such as Thane and beyond, I would be focusing on first time or new customer users of the cab segment with micro and mini. So the good thing in a Bombay like market is that you get a very very varied experience. So you have to plan very very differently. You have to focus your ATL has to be very different. Your BTL has to be very different because again in a very very up market place like a South Bombay, a normal BTL of a promoter with a canopy will not work. So that was a very very varied experience. There the BTL has to be very very subtle. It should not be over the top. While in as you go into the not so polished markets, even all kinds of markets work. So I remember in Ola times when I was handling the tier 3 markets, all the smaller towns, even a rickshaw branding used to mean a lot, and it was very very cost effective. So whereas you come into a more mature market like a Bombay, then you go a lot more into digital and tech and a lot more tech savvy kind of marketing strategies. So yeah, very very varied, very very interesting stints that were there.
Yes, so I would say that just as we say that there is many India within India.
Absolutely.
Similarly, there is many Mumbai within Mumbai.
Absolutely. And I'll tell you, Gunjan, that is where I was a very, very big fan of TikTok till the time it was there. Because a lot of marketing people have grown up in comparatively urban India. And you're sitting in offices in Gurgaon, Bangalore, Bombay, and making marketing strategies for that many Indias that you spoke about. But you never get that experience. And that is where, let alone the cringe content that was there if you did not like it. But to understand the Indian consumer, I felt TikTok was a very, very awesome medium to understand the Indian consumer. And I think that's where you need to get the, as you would say, nubs of the, or the pulse of the consumer. Because for every type of consumer, your strategy has to be different. The thought is different. Their requirements are different. Their objective of using the product is different. So I think that's where you need to plan accordingly.
Definitely. I mean, TikTok was not the enemy. It was already there among the TG. TikTok just helped them to channelize their inner thought on the screen. And right. Somehow we blame TikTok for all the cringe kind of content it produced.
Right.
Anyway, that's fine. So now let us sum up a few things, and that is about what is your main takeaway from each of the three main companies: Asian Paints, Ola, and Oyo.
Okay. I'll give you two things here. One is what exactly did I do in all the three organizations, which is very, very varied. So that's one part of the learning. So Asian Paints, I was handling three roles. My first role was channel sales, where it was handling dealers and the network across, and it was one of the fastest growing territories of the country at that stage. And there, a lot of it was direct sales, managing the dealer network. The next part was I was handling the institutional sales. Now that was more of working with builders and government and all those kind of things. That was a very, very different, varied experience. The third stint that I was doing was services marketing, where I was launching their consultancy service across the East. So that was working in tandem with the channel sales and the retail sales to cross-sell and upsell. Now that was a very, very different, because then you're talking about greater wallet share. You're talking about putting in higher priced products or putting in your new products. That time we were a lot into wallpapers and wall art, and you had all those designer walls which were very, very new at that point of time. So we were that, so the penetration, the width, the depth, all that was what we were trying to increase. What I learned from Asian Paints as an organization was systems, processes, the whole power of sticking to ethics, etc. Now, that is the reason why companies at that level have blossomed. There is a reason why a company like Asian Paints is so well respected, so well looked up to. It is one of the best employers in the company, because that's how the process and the structures are so strong. 2015 was where I moved into Ola. Now, I'd already learned the structure and the processes. Ola taught me the kind of agility and the speed that you're talking about. With a bigger organization, a lot of things are already set. They move a little slower comparatively. But when you move into a startup, then it all hell breaks loose. So I was executing close to 3 or 4 campaigns a week. We were judged on our numbers on a weekly basis. I handled everything from strategic alliances with other brands to government alliances to all the communication that you get, so all the SMS and the notifications and the email that the consumer gets, all the discounts that you get. So we had over 100 parameters of data that we could play around with to create discounts, to increase frequency, to upgrade customers, to reactivate, to get new downloads. It included everything from ATL, BTL. Because 2015 was still the time where Ola was taking the market by storm. It was still penetrating the market very, very well. And we remember doing so many installation campaigns, so many reactivation campaigns. I remember doing a campaign of over 120 hoardings in one night in a city like Calcutta. So and that was spending a budget of over 1 crore in one night. It was a different experience altogether. It gave you a very, very different kind of a high. So then it was the coupled of the structures and the processes which I tried setting up in Ola, and in addition to the agility. Now, those are the 2 learnings with which I jumped onto Oyo. Now, Oyo, and unlike a lot of people, I went back to sales after a hardcore marketing stint. And my reason for going back was the kind of the team that I was getting. I took over a team of 100 people, which I scaled up to 225 people. So at its peak, we were 225 people leading the Bombay market, everything from corporate sales to travel agent sales to medical to events. Now, the learning here was the team management thing. So while I've been leading teams ever since I passed out, but handling a team of 7, 8, 10, 15 people is a very different ballgame than leading a team of 225. And startups, you course correct a lot, you make mistakes a lot, you realign a lot. 10 people realignment is very easy. But when you have to realign 225 people, it's a different ballgame. So I'll give you an example. When you are leading a small team is like rowing a small boat. It's very easy to turn, it's very easy to change course. But when you're leading a 225 member team, it's like managing a cruise liner. So if you have to make a turn, you have to start making the turn well in advance. You need to start, it has to be turned at a proper speed. Otherwise, you will not be able to turn around, you will topple over, etc. So if I have to finish a target in December, I need to ensure my team is at the optimum performance level. They should have finished the training by starting of October. To finish their training by starting of October, they should have joined the system by starting of September. To be able to join in September, their offer letter should have been rolled out in August. For the offer, so अगर मेरे को दिसंबर का टारगेट करना है, the planning has to start in May and June. So that's a very, very different foresight that you need to have when you're leading an organization at that scale. Because suddenly आप नवंबर में जाके हायरिंग करके लोगों को सेट करके उनको ट्रेन करके आप नंबर डिलीवर नहीं कर सकते. So I would say the structures, processes, then came the speed, and then using that speed was handling the team. And I think that's my very, very that's a question that I love answering, that हर organization का एक बहुत strong learning है.
Thanks a lot. So what I can sum it up like handling a team of 7 is like rowing a small boat, while 200 300 people is like managing a Titanic. You have to be
Absolutely.
very watchful of the icebergs.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh, thanks a lot. So on fifth question, so let us delve more towards now the world of LinkedIn and something more personal to you. So we'll start with what advice would you give to fresh graduates who have just started using LinkedIn? And I'm asking this question because of the current, I would say, uh, it is not such a great time for the Indian youth who are just graduating. So there is a huge upswing in the number of new users who are starting to like who are logging in and trying, but they are a little bit confused that what is all this thing. So many great people, so many great authors are there. So how they should start their journey, how they should initiate their journey.
See, everybody, irrespective at what age group or what stage in your career you are, you need to be on a platform like LinkedIn. And the importance is building your personal brand. Okay. Now the fact is, and COVID times has proven it. A lot of corporate professionals make this mistake that as they grow up the ladder, they start getting a lot of importance, and that importance they mistake as importance for themselves. So but that importance is actually for the chair that you're sitting on. So क्या संपर्क को भाव इसलिए मिल रहा है या importance इसलिए मिल रही है because he is a head of sales at Oyo, और क्या संपर्क को importance इसलिए मिल रही है because he is संपर्क. And that is where in COVID times people have realized कि वो business कब strike कर जाए या कब वो position danger में आ जाए, you don't know. And if God forbid that happens, you should have your own brand to fall back on. A lot of people think personal brand is about अरे वो बहुत सीनियर है उनको पर्सनल ब्रांड चाहिए, अरे वो मूवी स्टार है उनको पर्सनल ब्रांड चाहिए. इट इज नॉट अबाउट दैट. इट्स अबाउट ईच एंड एवरी पर्सन realizing that he himself is a brand. And that is where networking becomes very important. That is where people start recognizing you becomes important. Today, for senior folks in the industry, they get 25 to 30 people writing to them every day, sir मेरे को job चाहिए, job चाहिए, job चाहिए. Now, if a Gunjan writes to me, even if I want to help, I can't help 25 people. But if Gunjan writes and I recognize, I think I've seen Gunjan and I've seen his page Marketing Weekly, I've seen the kind of content he puts out. If I recognize Gunjan by name, the probability of me responding to you increases. You break the clutter. So the point is, that is where people should start recognizing you as an individual. Now, when I started something on my own 6 months back, people recognize Sampark on the platform. And I think that's the biggest thing that I never started it out with this intention. It built up as the journey went on. But today, people recognize me on the platform for the kind of work that I am doing there. That's very, very important. Secondly, when we passed out 10, 12 years back, although LinkedIn was still there and very nascent, as students, we never got an opportunity to learn from people who have been in the industry for 10, 15, 20 years. अगर आज आप एक स्टूडेंट हो जो पास आउट हो रहे हो, it's a very good time to learn and consume content or take learnings from people who've been in the industry. So अगर आप आज marketing में enter कर रहे हो और somebody who's been in marketing for 10 years, there is a lot that you can learn from them. You have that opportunity here. So start talking to a lot of people. Now, for me also, I've been very, very privileged to meet so many people on the platform at CXO level, CEO levels, jinse I've learned so much. That learning can be based on the genre that you're on. That learning can be how to be a better human being. That learning can be how to be a better professional. It can be on every front. So from a learning front, plus from a front that people start recognizing you. आज अगर somebody spoken to me, आज and दूसरी गलती पता है क्या लोगों की? People come to the platform when they are in trouble. आज जॉब चाहिए तब आओ, आज मेरे को सेल चाहिए तब आओ. Job, nobody is sitting there with the platter to give you a job. But if you have built a brand or if you built a niche for yourself over a period of time, 6 months, 8 months, 1 year, whichever, at least आज से 1 साल बाद, if you need help, there are a lot of people that can help you out. And I'll give you various examples. I have people on LinkedIn who have got jobs without giving interviews. And I'd suppose if you're looking for a job and I said, Gunjan, here is the job, here's the offer letter. He said, sir, interview. Bolta, I've seen your content and I've seen your mindset for 365 days. I don't need to take a 15-minute interview, which you can easily fake. I already know who you are. I have people who have written to me, and these are stories from my OYO experience, where people have written to me at 10 in the night. By 10 in the morning, they have an offer letter in hand. There are people who have written to me on a Monday, given an interview on Tuesday, got the offer letter on Wednesday, joined on Thursday. So बहुत experiences हैं. अगर आप networking की बात करो, ठीक है? I met, and these are examples that I give in a lot of sessions that I take. I met someone a year and a half back over a cup of coffee. I met the person on LinkedIn. I met the person for coffee. The person connected me to someone else. I did a session for that gentleman. He connected me to someone else. That person connected me to someone else. Just out of that one cup of coffee, I have done over 7 sessions. I have done over 15 consultancies. I have generated over 2.5 lakh worth of business out of that one cup of coffee that I had. That's the power of networking. आज मेरे को कोई help चाहिए ना, I can go on the platform और वो help ऐसे मिलती है. So that's where, and it takes time. It's not a shortcut. There are a lot of people out there who teach a lot of shortcuts and automation, etc. Brand building is not about shortcuts. Brand building is hardcore, long-term मेहनत. हिम्मत लगती है, patience लगती है. So that's where I think the LinkedIn power is there, and I think that's where every student should be there. And it hurts me when a lot of people attend my sessions and then they just, अरे इतनी मेहनत कौन करेगा? See, जो मेहनत करेगा वो फल पाएगा. जो मेहनत नहीं करेगा, वो फिर then you'll have to fight it out the hard way. So
shortcuts are not that. Shortcuts don't work that easy. I mean, people talk about growth hacks, but there are no growth hacks. There is only hard work, and hard work is more important than growth hacks.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. So as you said, it is truly. I mean that hard work is very important when you want to succeed on LinkedIn.
Okay. Right.
So the next question we have is something which you, as you said, that you started 6 months back. So it would be great if you can tell us that what led you to start Sampark Se Sampark. And I really love this particular name. It has this ring to it. So if you can please tell.
So if I talk about the name as well, that's something that I have not created. That's a gift that I got from LinkedIn because somebody had commented this name in the comments of one of my posts, and it became my hashtag initially. He said that you should start using it. It became my hashtag, then it became my website, then it became my email ID, it became my Insta handle, and now I'm running Sampark Se Sampark. So what Sampark Se Sampark is, it is into personal branding. It's into marketing and sales. It's into career development. So what's led me to this over the last couple of years, while I had been very, very active on LinkedIn, and my whole journey to winning the LinkedIn Spotlight last year, being recognized by LinkedIn as one of the top content creators on the platform, I realized that yes, if that is there, I'm doing something very well. And I think that gave me a lot of confidence to push it through. Gunjan, are you there? I can't hear you. Hello.
Yes, I'm there. The network is a little bit weak, so yes, I can hear you clearly.
Okay. So with LinkedIn Spotlight last year, it gave me a lot of confidence that maybe what I was doing was in the right direction, and I kept giving it a thought. And somehow, starting off COVID was something that I jumped into this. Of the last 6 months, I've done over 75. Trained over 10,000 people. I've been working with a few brands in terms of how do you, and a few startups in terms of how do you push your marketing and sales to a larger level, bringing all my experience through, working with a lot of individuals in terms of personal branding, etc. So I do a lot of group sessions. So that is a weekend thing that I do under the brand Champion of LinkedIn. So that's building your brand on a platform like LinkedIn. In addition, I do a lot of one-on-one consultancies with startups, SMEs, businesses. Plus, then I work with a lot of companies on a monthly retainer kind of a model where I work with their teams in setting up their marketing, sales, branding, etc. All those kind of genres as well. In addition, I'm working with a lot of schools, with a lot of colleges and a lot of students in terms of mentoring them, more of in terms of career development. How do you prepare for interviews? How do you bag that dream job of yours? How do you go up in your career, etc. So that's a lot of it that I do under Sampark Se Sampark.
Okay. And yes, I am one of the avid reader of Sampark Se Sampark, and I hope that many of our readers have also checked your blog. Actually, I was before this particular session, I had a conversation with few of my colleagues about the conversation that we were having, and I
Right.
would say that all of them were knowing about you, and they have liked your content. So they were quite happy like that you will be there with Marketing Weekly. Um, so it's really honor. It's our honor that you were present today, and thanks a lot, sir, for this session.
Thank you,
And
Gunjan.
wish to connect with you also in future. As I said that we will have some more and more entertainment plus educational kind of a session we can have in future. So thanks a lot, sir.
Thank you, Gunjan. It is a pleasure being here. It's really, really great to reach out to students and for all the marketing enthusiasts. Thank you so much.